I won.
That's the vibe tonight. It's been a long time since I hit that one. It's been a long time since I felt quite as victorious and triumphant as I do this evening. Folks, we hope you are well. Last night, we previewed the Backlash, and we said, maybe, right? Maybe, just maybe, we'll leave it out there. Maybe if we have fun, we'll review the show. But I think we all referenced it. We all mentioned it. There was just this feeling that maybe AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes would go a little nuts in Lyon, France. And I think it's fair to say that may have indeed come to fruition. Quite the night. My God, we have not quite the Fed 4. Bobby Two Shoes is on assignment and he's on the road. We wish him well. We hope the gig with TNA is going splendidly. But we do have the Fed 3 nonetheless. The Oracle of Wrestling. We'll message him throughout the show. Quite the day, quite the night, right? My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Al, how you doing?
I'm good. I was at my brother's enjoying the show and some homemade pizza.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it was we had, I think, high expectations. Maybe not lofty ones, but high ones.
Yep. Optimistic, definitely.
And I think it absolutely delivered. This is probably, I mean, it's the best B show since maybe last year's Backlash. Probably so, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah.
It was probably a better show than that. I mean, that show was special in its own way, and I that show was awfully good. But like, this is the best one since in terms of the B pay-per-views. Yeah, man. I mean, we even convinced Contrarian Alex to be excited about this, and he was screaming in the DMs of with enthusiasm. So I mean,
well, that's why the I won thing, obviously, folks. I'm being a little silly here, but the reason I'm approaching it that way is I got myself really worked up about this main event. And in doing that, because I'm an asshole, I said, I must take my friends along for this potentially traumatic ride. And Oracle, I think, was right to kind of stress to me, like, it could be that. It could be solid pros. But, I mean, they swung big tonight, didn't they? I mean, they went for the match that we kind of assumed maybe, just maybe, they're going to go for an epic. And I think they did in the end, to say the least. So, yeah, it was, yeah, my goodness, what a ride. What a ride indeed. Chris, back on LNG once again, like 15 hours after your last appearance, but it had to be done, right? How are you, man?
Yes, I'm great. I got the celebratory adult beverage here.
Okay, great stuff.
What an afternoon. Look. If we gotta keep kissing his ass to get shows like this, then let's do it.
I guess so.
I'll stroke that ego.
Usually, I see he made an entrance before the show tonight, so he's obviously said, I won't do it on the air anymore, right? I'll just do it beforehand. It's this the humility of the man. You got to admire it. But no, I agree. They're in a nice form right now for sure. Speaking of such, before we even get into the matches, I think we need to be fair. Circling back to our conversation last night, the pacing for this show was a lot better than we feared. It was a major upgrade.
I mean, the between matches was just like,
yeah.
The show was great, but like they just paced it so well and they timed it so, and they didn't overdo it, and everything in between had value and meaning.
Yeah,
and there was no like. I honestly think part of the thing is, and yeah, there's some negatives to it, but like. And I could be wrong. I could just be sort of projecting here, or whatever. But with the Prime logo in the ring,
they made enough money
like that, or like the match, or like like at Mania with the stuff being advertised for matches. I'll take that and have a better pace of the show than having to do these ads.
Yeah. So the new thing is, from you guys have Peacock, so clue me in on this. The new thing is the Peacock ads for those that haven't got the premium. Or the pre-match videos now,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas before, they would do like superstar videos for those and then would play a video, right? It was like a double. You'd have like who is Bianca Belair video, and then it would be anyway up next. So it's way better. With that in mind, the 5-match card worked tonight. I do think there was a match on here that was probably stretched thinner than it needed to be. but it wasn't so much so that it was egregious. I think the 5-match show worked. 2 hours and 50 pay-per-view. Like, I think this, I think some of our concerns in terms of pacing, length, show, match card, all that stuff on this show, I think it works. So we're going to just bounce around here, folks. We hope everyone is well and enjoyed the show as we clearly did. I think it makes sense to just start with the big headline coming out of the show, which is not quite Tangaloa, though he is a worthy runner-up. One of the most insane moments I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, it was one of those things. But we'll start with the main event. I think that makes sense. Cody Rhodes' first title defense after finishing the story. And I think it's pretty apparent this is a match he's wanted for a long time. First time matchup with a guy that, as he said on the promo, I think there's probably a lot of truth to it. He did watch when he was getting into pro wrestling, right? As weird as that is to think about. And this is the most ambitious AJ Styles match in, I would say, probably 4 years since the Dragon match, right? The Performance Center. I mean, they went out there to have a main event. I think they clocked in at around 28 minutes. And I don't want to look, Cody Rhodes is great. He's the guy. He's the top star in the industry. So I don't want to disparage or take away from him. What we saw that dude, AJ Styles, do physically tonight is like superhuman. I can't believe he's packed that much muscle on and can still move like that and go that deep in a match and stay AJ Styles. That was quite the effort. Oracle, where do we start with the main event? That was the kind of thing that kind of reiterates how great a guy has been. That was like, wow, it's a special wrestler right there.
Yeah, this was pretty great, man. I mean, obviously, the entrances were going to be awesome with the crowd, and like, that chant they're doing with AJ is because the phenomenal name, right? And that's like that word ties in with one of their like favorite chants to do in France.
Yes, I believe so.
I think it's a song or something like that, like a hit song over there or something.
And at one point, they went to the anthem at one point, right? We're singing the anthem, I believe, at one point. So.
But so early on, like it was good because like I really liked when they started doing like that it was very fleeting, but they kind of teased doing a little bit of amateur stuff, and it was popping me.
Me too. When they were doing the switches, yeah.
But and then of course they did a great bit right after that where Cody slaps AJ right as a callback. I always love when they actually when the promo segments have value, right, and they mean something, and you can use them. When AJ slapped Cody gets he slaps. I love AJ like having to like put his fingers in his jaw to get his jaw back in place after the slap. Just like cool little details like that, real pro shit, and of course, they get going back and forth and they do this spot as the point where it kind of leads to AJ's heat, where Cody does a delayed vertical on the top ropes. And I don't know if it was meant to be this way or what, but AJ reverses it and like they both kind of lose balance, or Cody does. So AJ kind of falls and just grabs Cody by the waist, but it was so awesome. And like Cody does this great sell.
Yes.
Like
I think they might have been going for, as insane as this sounds, I believe it based on what we saw. I think AJ was supposed to hook the head for like the reverse DDT he does.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how Cody bumped, right? Was like he took. But to your point, Cody did this like delayed, like excruciating sell. And it kind of added to the clunky, gritty feel.
It was smart play. It's this type of thing that like it's smart because even though he landed very safely and stuff, and like it could have gone worse because it did look. Because when they first started falling, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this could be bad."
Yeah.
And like Cody, I think, and they both kind of realized that, like, okay, we're gonna call it off and kind of go from here. Cody was still able to kind of. Even though if you like, take it by frame, it's not that big of a bump, but like because of the circumstances of the botch, whatever you want to call it, it makes it, you can kind of buy Cody, being in pain and ended up having AJ doing really good, back work, hitting some big offense for back work. Dude, just the transitions in this were tremendous, right? I mean, just the transitions alone. I mean, this wasn't this wasn't your more natural like face heel. I mean, AJ was obviously the heel here, and he did very well in spades there. But it was not so much a heat, although, like I said, you know, he worked over Cody's back and did some big offense to that, you know, for some 2 counts and stuff. But it was more just that they were working kind of back and forth and hitting some awesome transitions, you know.
Yes.
And
Momentum shifts, right?
absolutely, yeah. And you know, the stuff on the floor and the apron was, you know, the brainbuster was awesome. Cody transitioning and countering out of that into the powerbomb to the table, and AJ taking a tremendous bump, you know, head over heels. And just some good stuff, man. Great near fall sequence when AJ got this might have been earlier in the match when Cody had his initial comeback and he hit he got really fired up and hit like the power slam and stuff was great.
They did
when they got back into the ring. That 450 near fall was tremendous. Even though you knew Cody was going to kick out, the way that they paced it and sold for it was just.
How does he still do that, dude?
I don't know, dude. Because like it was funny because like he keeps going for the springboard moonsault because in theory it's easier, right? Because but he missed it earlier too. That's psychology. That's learned psychology in a match. And he was like, "No, I'm going to go for the 450," and he hits the 450, and gets a great near fall off of it. And when he hits the burning hammer, I was losing my mind, man. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'm not as mad as some people. I don't like the 1 count stuff.
Right.
It wasn't as bad. I mean, I've seen it done way worse by other people. It's not my thing. The only time I've ever really liked it in recent times is when Eddie Kingston did it against, was it Danielson at Revolution?
Maybe
so.
Eddie's employed it a couple times. One against Claudio, I think, as well. But yeah, Eddie's used it.
Like,
well, yeah.
I don't care for that stuff. It wasn't awful or anything, but I definitely was like, oh come on.
I get
and
you,
then
yeah.
and then the whole deal where like Cody, like it wasn't that even, but then like sometimes when he goes for the Cody cutter, the way that he went here, like right after the burning hammer 1 count, like he just like AJ gave him a lot of time to like set up for it, and it kind of made me roll my eyes. Bear with me, folks. I thought the match was great. It's just I have my quirks that bother me, but yeah, other than that little point, which a lot of people loved, and that's fine, and I get it. It wasn't for me, but I also didn't think it was awful. I mean, or anything. I definitely groaned. So they go to like this big reversal sequence where they're trying to hit their big moves, and including a part where Cody super kicks out of the phenomenal forearm, which is great. So they're going back and forth, trying to hit their moves. The mega Cody cutter was awesome, even though it's kind of similar, but because I prefer the longer wait for that, because like first of all, it wasn't, it was a different sequence. Second of all, kind of makes sense when Cody goes up higher. You kind of have to figure out where he is.
Do you notice AJ will only bumps when Cody hooks him?
Yeah, well, that's called being a great base.
Yeah, exactly.
And AJ knew exactly because Cody went too far, and AJ being a tremendous base and also obviously incredibly strong, because look at him.
Yep.
Still found a way to take an amazing bump.
He trusts his timing. Like, I'll catch it. Some guys leap from. I mean, we had fun with Dwayne last month, right? He jumped himself up in the air there, which is fine, but it just looks better.
That looked 10 times worse in person, by the way.
I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
The Mega Cody Cutter was great, and was a great setup for the Crossroads, which was a nice affirmative win for Cody here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to see. I know we could probably talk about it later, but I'm going to go ahead and add in that extra bit. I don't know. It feels like this is kind of the end of it.
It did feel like that.
Cody might have just another challenger coming up. But I mean, it was fine. I mean, we got what we wanted out of it. But it was just a tremendous match. I mean, Cody showed great fire. I mean, AJ was incredible, man.
He was on one.
The only love for me was the burning hammer stuff, and even then I'm not that mad, because the burning hammer AJ doing the burning hammer was like, holy shit,
His body language after he hit too, I'm going to kill this. He's so mad all the time, dude. The anger. I'm going to read a tape deal in a minute, but first I've got you, Chris. Firstly, the Oracle of Wrestling there. Almost blow by blow. I don't know how you do it. After I watch a wrestling match, I don't remember any of it until you start reminding me. But Chris, I'm pretty sure you liked it. I'm confident. But what did you make of the big time main event?
It was great. It was everything I was hoping it was going to be. This was real for like this storyline about him, fighting against this notion of him being old. Like, you can tell like that there's some aspect of that that's real to him. Like, he was out there to prove a point tonight. And it was awesome. Yeah, I absolutely.
Yeah.
He showed that, he might not be able to get to that place often anymore, but every now and then he can still get to that place. And
yeah. Oh, this opportunity, right? Opponent opportunity. I
when
think
he's on there, the list of people who are better are very, very short.
I agree. This is the great tape machines. This is from a couple of weeks ago, and I think this is so spot on. He said, as he nears his 47th birthday, which, by the way, is crazy. It's a month away, by the way. AJ Styles still works with the fiery anger of his much younger self. It's just who he is. Everything he does, offense, bumping, whatever, is done with such defiant rage. It's as though he's still proving people wrong and isn't a guy that's been on top of every company he's ever gone to. That's who he is, right? And that's why, like, when he gets in that mode and he gets that chip on his shoulder, he's just a demon inside those ropes. Couple spots that stood out as Oracle was going through. We got to see Cody's kind of 90s WCW influence, where he did the pole drive tombstone reversal spot. I was like, oh, bro's been watching. He's got his Sting tapes back on. I see the crowd loved that. They loved everything, but they loved that. Also, how great was the spot early where Cody kind of played a little cover of AJ's favorite tune with the drop kick, when he made him running the ropes. And this was like, to me, was the whole match captured by a moment. AJ's response to that wasn't doing the sequence. He just literally hit like a power drop kick, right? He didn't do the up and over, the drop down. He just lined him up and nailed him. And the announcers were talking about, their logic on the AJ muscle mess thing was like, he's a power guy now. He's trying to hit guys harder. I mean, this is perfect. This is the game, right? This is what we want to see. So clearly, this was quite the time. The early pacing of this match and the way they let the people, it was just like classical main event rhythm they had at the start of this match. When they were wrestling for position, a little bit of action, then breathe again. It felt in that like early middle section, it had like a kind of Brett title defense vibe, and then it went into something more booming and bombastic down the stretch, which I think is necessary in 2024. Yeah, it was. I mean, for Cody's first title defense, that's a pretty good start, right? Pretty good way to kick it off.
I mean, and I'm sure we're going to bring up the crowd a bunch of times tonight, but them giving Kingdom the Judas treatment, finishing the song after the music stops playing, like that was awesome.
Big fight. We use Big Fight Feel a lot. Tonight had Big Fight Feel. When they were in the ring for the introductions, it was like, and that's what we talked about, right? AJ and Cody is a big match anywhere. It's different to a crowd like that. They're so excited to see a match of that caliber. It's just, it was very special. Again, I'm sure it's a match that if you rewatch it, I'm sure like you'll see other parts of it that maybe, loose kind of rough edges, but live, I got very much swept up in that. And as Oracle mentioned it, the Burning Hammer, I was like, oh my God, AJ's going to kill him. He was going off. So, there appears to be some very funny stuff going on.
That sounds very funny to me.
I'm getting a lot of like my phones. Like again, it's happening, but for very different reasons tonight. I don't know what he said, but it sounds.
Yeah, last night was a pop culture misunderstanding for me.
Are you suggesting?
I'm sure you were highly amused by my DMs.
I was, but are you suggesting that Triple H versus the Wrestling Reporters is not a pop culture phenomenon? Okay, where's Mania happening, Jack? I actually do need to know this. If anyone could tell me where Mania is happening, that'd be very, very useful. So yeah, pretty cool. I think it's fair to say that there was some doubts. Vegas,
WrestleMania Vegas, April 19th and 20th.
April 19th and 20th. Yeah, doing later in April. Yeah, I'll take that over May.
Contrarian Alex and I.
Mania, man.
I'm gonna be policing Contrarian Alex in Las Vegas, folks. This is gonna be. We'll see what comes of that, but yeah. I love the main event. Anything else on the main event, boys? Before we jump around a little here, because it was quite the time. I was thrilled with how it came out. Great match.
Great match, man. I mean, like I don't know. I don't even tend to be a star ratings guy, but I've said before I just like it as a baseline. But that was like it's probably like 4.25. You know,
I thought so. Yeah,
4.5 maybe even. It was quite good.
I think so. I saw some takes and extreme like opposites of that. It felt live like it was it felt like one of the best WWE matches of the year. I'll say that, right? Like I don't know what Cody and Roman's so different. How do you compare the two?
That was such a sports entertainment spectacle. Although they did a really good job working.
The match was good, yeah.
But
it's just that's one of the reasons I think tonight was such a hit. Is like that was such a great deal in terms of establishing a new house style for like who Cody's going to be as champ. Wrestlers, and that's not. I loved a lot of Roman's work, so I don't mean that's a slight. And what I mean is, you've done the bloodline stuff now to a T. Tonight there was a wrestling match, and it was a treat. I think it's fair to say the crowd loved it. We'll see what happens next. I agree with Oracle that it felt that maybe one and done. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ returns to the States and gets a much warmer response. That may be something they have to. I mean, they've got about 10 baby faces to 4 heels, it feels like at times, but they're going to have to navigate that, I think. So, yeah, very, very special. Another match that I loved tonight, jumping around, we'll go from the end to the start. Man, I don't care what some of our friends on Cage Match said. I thought the opening match of this show fucking rocked, dude. I thought it kicked ass. We talked last night, we wanted a street fight, we wanted a brawl. And then we talked about how if that's what they do, Kevin Owens is going to be unlocked. Wow. When Kevin Owens is on, that dude is a force of nature. He was spectacular tonight. Chris, what did you make of the opening tag?
We're getting pretty good at calling this shit out beforehand, aren't we?
Yeah, again. It's the power of Bob, Chris,
Yeah. No, yeah, it was I thought because it was weird. So they were showing all the wrestlers arriving to the arena, and the only ones they didn't show were the triple threat. And so I was like, okay, well maybe that must be the opener.
The opener, yeah.
And then they opened with this, and I was like, oh, okay. And they did, they start brawling before the match even starts, and all this comes out and makes it a street fight, and I'm pumping my fist in the empty house, and it was just awesome, just beating the hell out of each other. And then when Tonga Loa came out, and I yelled holy shit, like just out loud to nobody. Like I was like,
that
I couldn't believe
me.
Like
stunned me.
Had no idea that was coming.
I certainly didn't either. It was before the show. We were watching the pre-show, my brother and I, and Big E said he's one half of the Gorillas of Destiny. My brother goes, well, who was his partner? I was his brother, Tangaloa. And he said, why is he not in the World Wrestling Fair? I said, well, he can't really run anymore. This is what he is. God bless him. I wish him the best. I like Tangaloa. He's got a good Twitter account. But he's not. I don't think he'll be signed to the WWF. 20 minutes later, he was out there shooting an angle with the bloodline. Made me look like a complete idiot. But look, I don't know what the Tangaloa WWE run looks like. I will say I'm fascinated how late this came together, because there was not a peep about this. I mean, not even like a whisper, no suggestion this was going to happen. So I'm fascinated by how it came to be. Tama Tonga busted his ass tonight. I know that much. He worked really hard and was kind of the punching bag of the match, right? He kind of had to earn his stripes in that regard. But this was a hell of a time, Oracle. I think this is what you were looking for, right?
Oh, yeah, this was definitely what I was looking for. I just want to bring up the amazing interview vignette with Kayla and Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Where Kevin was just being himself, and he's legitimately funny too. He's very much like a Mick Foley when it comes to that. Remember Mick Foley do those on location stuff?
Totally
when he was shooting with he went to Vegas with Al Snow or something. Chris, you might remember this, 99 or whatever.
Yes.
Val Venus was involved or something. It's quite amusing.
Yeah.
But it's just Kevin Owens is he's sitting over there. He's sitting on this little bridge. Hey, look, there's a swan. He's just being himself. It's quite funny. But this tag was fucking awesome, man. They beat the hell out of each other, and like Tama Tonga, man, that dude, his back, it can welts and shit. Like Randy was giving him like a welcoming, some welcoming taps, quote unquote taps with the kendo stick. Just insane stuff. Owens working with so much intensity, like picking up like chairs from the crowd and like throwing them at Tama Tonga. That sequence where Tama Tonga, like Randy Orton comes in after he's been laid out for a while, and
he turned
at the chair,
and
starts making the face. They start making the faces at each other. That was incredible. They're like circling each other, like
that was
pit bulls.
The way the announcers put it over to, where like the bit was Tama was supposed to be scared, turned around and saw it was Randy and was like, "Let's fucking go." And the announcer's like, "This dude's nuts." It was
that ruled. That ruled. But yeah, like it just Solo's like hair like kept standing more straight up as the match went on.
Solo is just very funny in general at this point in time. Everything about him is funny.
So that was popping me the whole match. Randy does give Solo an RKO on the table, and you could see his face after he does the RKO.
I love how last night we're like, yeah, Randy's not going to take any bumps. He took 2 table bumps.
I'm telling you, man. I'm probably completely wrong. I'm not one bumping on them. These new, the tables they use now that like explode. They like implode upon it. They look like hell to me. Every time someone lands on them, Randy's he's hurt himself like multiple times. It's looked like, I don't know, maybe it's fine. It didn't look fun. I'd say that much for sure.
He looked so upset at himself for giving that RKO on the table.
What about when he stood up on the barricade to a high spot and then just slipped down? He stepped down and just put his thumb up at the people. Oh my god, man! Yeah.
Of course, they do the great stuff, with the finish, and it looks like it's over. And so somebody pulls on, and my initial thought, because see, I didn't see the haircut. My initial thought was, right. Jacob Fatu. And I looked and said, wait a minute, that's not Jacob. I didn't know who it was at first. Because I haven't seen Camacho in a decade. So, I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And then they said Tangaloa. I said, "What the fuck?" That's literally what I said.
We were messaging, and about 2 minutes later, we got this big one from Alex, and it was like, my phone was on charge. And it was like 3 bullet points, right? And the last one was LOL Tangaloa. I don't know what he's gonna. If they book Tangaloa and Carlito, I think TVs might just explode across the globe. Again, let me be clear, folks. I'm thrilled for the man. God bless him. What a gig, right? If he indeed is like full time. But he did have the best tweet of this year. I don't know if you guys saw this, but New Japan clipped like a botch of his, and he replied to his own clip with, "This was fucking shit."
That's awesome.
So, he's quite the character. Haku's sons are doing good for themselves. So yeah, we'll see what comes of that.
I imagine that they're just going to work tags so Solo can work singles.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think tonight was an interesting night for last night's kind of theory we threw out about Jacob not being on their side of the debate, right? Like,
I think it still could go either way.
Yeah, so do I.
Maybe Dwayne's like, I'm not working War Games.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very much in play. Very in play.
Yes.
It's probably more likely if we're being honest with each other, but that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. It stunned me. It was a real surprise. Granted, it was a surprise that I laughed at very loudly. But look, Tate, I'll go back to our friend Tate. I think he's bang on. This Bloodline stuff, we said it last night, it's more interesting after Mania. It's fascinating.
Let me add to the post-match, by the way.
Go for it.
There were times where, like, Paul Heyman was like, all right, calm down or whatever when Roman was in charge. But he was literally protecting Kevin Owens here.
Yeah.
Like,
he was great all match.
Yeah.
Because he was most of the time he was facing hard cam, and the expressions on his face were just, you could tell he's uncomfortable. And that they took that to another level when they did the backstager that I'm sure we'll talk about later. But he is not well right now.
Yeah. He's doing a great job, man. He really is. Always, right? But I think he's really sinking his teeth into this.
And shout out to Michael Cole giving a brief summary of Tama Tonga's New Japan cage match.
He intended to say the 3 names he obviously picked out from cage match were Cole Anderson in-house, I get it. Shingo and Evil, and he read it too quickly, or more likely he just doesn't know, he wrote it wrong, but he said Shinto was his Shingo Takagi call-out. So he may have wrote down like Shingo T, or, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Michael Cole has not studied Shingo tapes. I could be wrong. He may be a big Dragon Gate guy. Oracle, how many Shingo Takagi matches do you think Michael Cole's watched in his life? What do you reckon? 100 deep? Not many?
If you ask me how many I've watched, I've seen enough to know.
Fair enough. Folks, we hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please give us a thumbs up on the YouTube. We are at like 990-something subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, please help us. We're almost at the big 1,000. And we have a few more matches to talk about here on this kind of impromptu, wild, loose review show. Let's go to the other World's title match because, as Chris mentioned, there is a link here, right, with the other male World title match, I should say. There is a link with the Jey Uso Bloodline business, right, with the backstage segment, and Paul Lee is very scared at all times. I think it's fair to say they like Jey Uso tonight in the on front. I think it's fair to say he was pretty popular. Legitimately felt like that may have been one of the great entrances of it wasn't as good as Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, but it was like, it may be the 2 seed. Like Sami Zayn's recent one, they were electric for Jey Uso. And I think the match came out on the better side of what we was discussing last night. I think it clocked in at around 15, I would say, off the top of my head. And I think, Chris, you was the one who kind of circled that as a number. I think that proved to be right, especially with some interference, right? They juiced it up with a little smoke and mirrors. So I thought it came out well. It wasn't, a world title classic. It was never going to be. But I thought for where it was, Jey and Damian had a nice match. Chris, what did you make of it?
Yeah. I don't think it was anything offensive or anything like that. It was perfectly fine. You had Jey, who's super over right now, and Priest, who's not as over, but the Judgment Day are still fairly popular. So yeah, it was fine. And like I said last night, there were some Judgment Day shenanigans that Priest didn't seem too happy with, even in the post match. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
They had a strong near fall at the end, right, on the big splash, Jey's big splash, and I gotta be honest, they actually got me on that one at the end there.
Honestly, like between the entrance, like I was like, I think Jeremy had the tweet of "fuck it," put the title on Jey, and I was like,
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, when this guy's that over, you get swept up in it, right? And it's like the Judgment Day interference was really well done in that they set it up where you could easily convince yourself the finish was going to be they've cost Damian the belt. Very, very effective. We need to get Jey to watch some good spears. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do with his spear. It's outrageous, but they don't really give a shit. They just like saying yeet. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Good luck to him.
It looks more like a flying, like a flying wrist lariat than it is a spear, but.
I managed to win back some points for my brother in this match because he asked me where the sound was coming from on Jey's strikes. And I explained it to him, being the broadcast journalist time. And I said, if you really want to enjoy the match, watch what Jey does when someone hits him. Because Jey's one of the guys who does the clap thing, right? Like he's, like he's leading song and dance. And I swear to you, brother, once I pointed it out to him on every strike, he was like, oh God, I can't miss it. He's pretty good at timing it in a way where it will be missed generally. But thankfully I got some points back after he got to dunk on me about Tungaloa. So,
okay, that's pretty funny. What we just saw in the chat.
CM Punk is locked in a bathroom at WWE headquarters. My goodness. We saw it all here, Oracle. We saw the super kicks. We saw the slaps, the yeets, the taunts. At one point, it was like he was doing like a Coliseum video comedy match at the start, in which Corey Graves described it as he is embarrassing him. The Yeet Man is embarrassing Damian Priest. Someone on my timeline compared Jey to Hacksaw Jim Duggan with Yeet being the hoe. So much going on. What did you make of their world title match?
That's actually the most apt
It's
description I can think of.
Hey, I was there. Hacksaw was over, brother.
He was over as hell, man.
Like Hacksaw was like insanely over. He was like the number 2 babyface for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, his matches were well. But no, this match was good. It was honestly something you could tell. Where, like, if this did not take place in Lyon, France, it'd probably be like 2.5 stars. But like,
probably, yeah.
This it certainly helped. Like, the crowd like really carried this in a lot of ways. My favorite spots of the whole match are when they were doing like the Damian did his like Mortal Kombat kick that he does, and then he went for it again, and Jey hit him with a super kick, and then after that, Jey did a leaping super kick.
Yeah, in the corner. Yeah,
he did like a running super kick.
Yeah,
which popped me.
They wanted him to do more moves. He said, "I've got one for you."
Running super kick. But yeah, this was good stuff, man. I mean, the Judgment Day interference was done very well. I love that the commentary now has started. They didn't really do it at first, but they were calling him a goof, but like they've now started making fun of the size of JD McDonough's head.
Yeah, it's overdue, really. I mean, the timeline's been doing that for about 6 years now. I mean, come on.
But Finn Balor's bumps as an interfering third here was incredible, man. Like he takes an insane bump when he first comes in off the super kick and just goes flying off the apron.
Yeah.
And then when Jey speared him, he literally like leapt into the spear. So, he probably thought, well, got to make this shit look good. So
he is just the ultimate pro, that dude, isn't he? He's just so like everything Finn does, it looks exactly as it should. God bless him, man.
But the post match stuff was good, man. It's like last year they were doing the stuff where like they weren't getting along, and then they like got back together strong Judgment Day, and then now it looks like they're gonna. I don't know. I feel like I still feel like Drew's gonna. I don't know. And I don't disagree with the Punk Drew possibilities at Clash of the Castle either, but like I still feel like Drew's going to win the title, and I feel like it's not going to be clean. Like there's going to cost Damian, and they're going to that's going to be it for the Judgment.
I think Chris was spot on last night when he said Priest will be the guy for Drew to work, because Priest he's going to turn babyface in the TV, but they know that they're going to boo him anyway in Glasgow. So it's like you can have him walk that line, right? Like in the TV narrative, he can be the good guy, quote unquote, but he'll get booed. Whereas if Jey Uso goes to Glasgow and gets booed, it's like, what's Jey going to do then, right? He's fucked. Like Priest will be fine. So I can't pretend I'm excited for Priest and Drew as a singles, but Glasgow will do for that match what I think Leon did for Jey and Priest tonight. So yeah, I thought it came off well. Again, not a classic or anything. It was never going to be, but I thought it came out much better. And I'm glad for Jey, because I know we've had our fun with it, but he was clearly pretty bummed out about how the match with Jimmy turned out. So I'm glad they got to have a good one, and the crowd enjoyed it an awful lot. They enjoyed everything, to be fair, but the point stands. All right, elsewhere. Let's jump to the triple threat for the women's title: Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany. I need to rewatch this because Tungaloa, like that moment changed my life for a little bit. Like I got up and walked around, and that was a great phone moment, the Tungaloa situation, and everyone was very excited or saying things about Tungaloa. So I got a little bit lost in that. It looked to me, tell me guys if my assessment is wrong, it looked like they kind of rocked this. I think the speed they were trying to go early was probably, there was a couple of start steps early, right? Because they were trying to really push a pace. But it seemed to me the point here was Bayley's going to go over. We're going to give Naomi some shine, but we're going to give a lot of shine to Tiffany Stratton. That seemed to be what they were going for. And if that was the case, I think they did a pretty damn good job of that, because she got a lot of spotlight here. I thought, from what I saw, again, I'm going to rewatch it, but I thought this came off really well. Chris, what did you make of the triple threat match?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was definitely sloppy in some spots, as triple threats are wont to do.
Yeah,
there was almost something it was almost charming how sloppy it was in those spots. But yeah, no, I thought all three ladies kind of rocked it, and Tiffany, she's gonna be. It's not gonna take her long. to get to the top of that mountain. Not going to take her long at all.
Yeah. I do want to credit, I don't know who produced this, but I thought they really did a good job of packing the action in this, because I agree with you, Chris, that when it was sloppy, they were going so hard. There was a charm to it of like, look at they're really working. They wasn't just letting the people do the work for them, right? They were going. So, yeah, I thought this came off well. I think they got I'd say just shy of 15. And it was action-packed and exciting. And I think that was a flattering presentation for both Tiffany and Naomi, the more action-packed match, right? And Bayley's going over, so she don't need any shine. She's fine. Oracle, did you like this, mate?
It was good. It was a good match. It's amazing because, like, with Tiffany, she's already there where she needs to be, but she's got a few things she has to work on, and she's like way up there,
Yeah, she's
way
ahead of schedule.
My biggest gripe is what I said, in the DMs earlier during the show was her biggest issue is that she spams the same 4 or 5 moves.
Yeah,
and that's too video gamey. No, they all look good, and she, she needs to expand her offense a little bit and space that out a little bit. I mean, she's also 24, 25 years old, Green. I mean,
she's way ahead of schedule.
I mean, like she's gonna get better there. I'm fairly confident in that. But like, just the way she carries herself and she's just so confident and believes in herself. And even stuff like you can tell, like, with her gymnastics background, like what that entails and what that does to help her. Yeah. There's a spot in the match where they did I can't remember who it was with Bayley, or I can't remember whether it was with both of them or Bayley or Naomi, but they kind of mistimed where she was kind of like countering a back body drop or something. And like, she didn't have a lot of time to like land, but because of her gymnastics experience, it's obvious that like the muscle memory, she just landed perfectly. Like at the end, like stuff like that is just like, you can't teach that. You can only teach that to a gymnast, who learned that when they were very young. So like, it's just stuff like that that's just like super impressive to see. Because I mean, like, for example, like, like that happens with, I've seen many wrestlers who get caught in that scenario and like fall on their knee, or I can't imagine one of my all-time favorites, CM Punk, trying to catch himself on a.
I was thinking of old Punk.
It's a very small, minor thing, but it's just something that's just easily like.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, she's at Flag Lee. She jumps the page. I was thinking of Punk at night.
Her flying low-key stomps are just insane, man.
She hits hard, dude. Yeah. Oracle, I was thinking of Punk at night when I was watching AJ. I was thinking, he must watch that dude and think, this piece of shit, right? Like, look at this fucking asshole. He's out there all bulked up doing 450s. It popped me very, because on the pre-show, for anyone who missed it, I'm being playful, because on the pre-show, Punk declared that AJ is inspiring because he's still doing it at a high level. I thought, that's one word to put it. That's one word to put it. But
I know this isn't exactly breaking news, but CM Punk's pretty good at that pre-show panel thing.
All 3 of those folks. Yeah. Jackie Redmond is great. I'd not watched her like properly on one of those things. She was really good. If it was like Big E, if he can do it, if he wants to do the travel, it feels like he should be on color for one of these TV shows. To me, he's a killer at that. And to your point, Chris, Punk is like, as soon as he's done in the ring, that's the job for him, right? If he wants to do it, he's great at it. It very much has that vibe of like Roddy or Randy back in the olden days, where they keep their personality. Now he's better at it than them, because he's more, he's less over the top and he's better. So if you get my point, right? He feels like he's actually allowed to be a personality. To your thing about things you can't teach with Tiffany Stratton, Oracle, look at the way she's kind of reacted to these atmospheres thus far. Last year, main event spot with Becky Lynch and the way she performed there in Australia in a stadium, the way she reacted to that. That is not commonplace, folks. Do not take it for granted. She's in these spots and she's like, yeah, this game time. She
believes she belongs there, which is the number one most important thing you have to have as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Regardless of if I think they're the best or whatever, if they believe that they belong there,
That's half the battle.
They have the confidence. Yeah, that's half the battle.
Ibu and I always talk about. Look at LA Knight, dude. Seriously, right? LA Knight got over because he walked out there like he was the coolest guy on the planet. He's like, I'm the guy, and everyone said, "Fuck it, maybe he is the guy." Like that's wrestling, man. It's so yeah, I agree completely. Tiffany is she's going to be the champ soon. I think that's pretty clear. Bayley, I thought was just tremendous here. It's like the glue of the match. So I liked it a lot, folks. Here's the deal. We've got one more match to talk about. We're at 998 subscribers, if my eyes are correct. That's very close to 1,000. I'm no mathematician, but I believe Oracle count correct, and we're 2 away. So if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, I think now's the time. Now's the time. Throw up the 2 sweet in honor of the 2 Bullet Club lads tonight, and guess that 1,000 mark. We're very, very close. So we hope you've enjoyed this thus far. Right, let's close it out. Final match of the night. Also, thumbs up. I think I said that. Final match of the night. Women's tag titles. Jade, Cargill, and Bianca Belair become the champs opposite Kabuki Warriors. This was very ambitious, right? They went long here. Like I think last night, Oracle, you threw out that you think they might go a little longer. I think they went like 18 minutes, dude. This was.
I thought they would go 15. I mean, they went longer than even I thought, but like, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure they were intending to because they hit the wall at one point. So this was. I still think this came out good overall and was trending very nicely in the first half. Kabuki Warriors were probably their best performance, in some time. There was a mix-up with the referee. I didn't see the spot back, so I don't know if the referee missed it or Kyrie did Kyrie things. But it really threw the match off for a few minutes there. And that's where you see the difference between, and this is not a criticism of Jade. She's like a 3-year pro or whatever. And a lot of her matches have been short. But there's the difference between executing moves and when it's just working, right? Like watching Jade try and especially with someone as a language barrier, the whole deal. And it was shaky. Luckily, this crowd was so in love with everything going on. They went like one move beyond that and they got, this is awesome. By the time they got to the finish, the crowd didn't give a shit about that part, right? So they were kind of fortunate in that regard. It's an experience I think you need to have as a wrestler who's kind of finding a way. But I liked the match overall, Oracle. What did you make of the women's tag title match?
Yeah, man. The first half was awesome. Like Bianca was just mixing it up really well with Kyrie and Asuka. Jade came in there and like slung Kyrie around a few times early. Kyrie looked the best she'd looked in forever. Some good double team offense from the Warriors. Good face and peril from Bianca. They were laying it on each other, which popped me.
And Alex popped Alex too, I think.
It did. The Jade hot tag initially was great. The springboard cross body looked awesome. Everything was going well, and they're kind of mixing up whatever. And I don't really know what happened. There was one point though we have to point out where like during the Jade hot tag where she went for double clothesline, Asuka ducked, and like Kyrie
sort of half took it, half didn't. Bumped, right?
But like, I felt like she got like lariated like across the eyes, which could not have felt good.
Yeah,
and then
it got pretty rough after that.
Jade was like feeding for, and granted, she'll get better at this. Like she was literally shaking her head to tell him to throw. She'll learn. It takes time. But Asuka and Kyrie were like, at times they were not letting up on those Hurricanes, man. They were just like letting them fly.
She got hit hard, dude.
And like she was not like, like some kind of like maybe like scrunch their shoulders, try to like. No, Jay was just like standing straight up, like
straight up.
Out, like
she wasn't moving her head with it. Like she was just getting hit square in the face. God bless, man. He looked good. The physicality looked good. So,
but and then like the ref flub, I don't know. There are people who are very harsh on Dan Engler.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's a good referee, dude.
I'm not sure who to blame on that. That's worth. If you want to look into that, it's probably something you got to rewatch. But I don't know. I kind of think I blame everybody, to be honest, not just.
He's a really good ref, man.
I understand people being frustrated with him, but I think it's on everybody. I think it's the language barrier was a problem. I think it's on him for worrying too much about who the legal person was, although
that's what they're told to do.
You're trained to do that. Yep. Maybe he missed a tag, maybe he didn't.
It's especially stressed in WWE, right? They stress it especially, like call it like shoots. It's hard,
And Jade's inexperience.
Yeah.
And like the Jade and Kyrie chemistry is iffy at best,
Right.
although the match ended up coming back around, took a couple
Mhm.
minutes. It was a mess. It was a roller coaster. But when they started really going again, and they did that double team move on Kyrie, where she got like flung around like a rag doll, and like Bianca
wheelbarrow
with her knees.
Yeah.
She got like suplexed and almost like decapitated on the bottom rope. Was insane.
There was some cool stuff in there.
She was like looking at the part of it. I think it was just she was just confused. Like everything kind of confused her because like the weird stop in the match. But like she looked out of it. Like I don't know. Like those jerkins she ate had to have like. I felt like she got knocked loopy.
She may have, yeah.
The setup to the which people pointed out, I hadn't remembered the Sky Blue match from like a year and a half ago or whatever, but like the way she hit the Jaded was awesome. Setup for that was tremendous.
Yeah.
Great finish with Bianca hitting the KOD on top of Kyrie with Asuka and then pinning. Getting the win. Big pop for the win. Yeah, this was a good match altogether. That part, the weird part everybody's going to talk about. People are gonna harp on. I'm going to defend Engler. Like, look,
it's tough, dude. Yeah.
Look, should he take some of the blame? Yeah, probably. But like, I think we have to be. I think we have to look at everybody in the ring and consider.
It's just one of those things, genuinely. Like,
yeah, it's unfortunate,
Being a ref's tough because you can hit your spots 10 out of 10 every single time, and we will never do a review show and say, man, Dan Engler was fucking on his game tonight. We will never do that. But on the one time where something goes wrong, it's like, the referee, like, so it's hard, it's complicated. I need to rewatch it to see who was wrong, whatever that means in a situation like this, because like he may have just missed the tag. I don't know. It also feels likely that Kyrie just didn't, So again, it doesn't matter at this point. Luckily, by the time they got to the finish, the people were happy, and I must say, it felt like a big deal, the tag title switch, which is good, right? That's what you want. So it came off well in the end, Chris. I think. What did you make of the tag title match?
No, I enjoyed it. I missed the spot or whatever part where people were complaining about.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know myself enough to know I'm probably not going to go watch it back to catch it. So, it is what it is. The like Oracle mentioned, the way Jade got into the Jaded there at the end was just incredible. But I honestly, I was feeling pretty good about my Mecha Powers comp halfway through this match. Like it felt like obviously the Kabuki Warriors aren't the Twin Towers.
Close, but not quite. Yeah.
Right. But it felt like some of those old Mecha Powers tags of like where Bianca's the macho taking all the heat, and like he tries to get over to Hogan, and they pull Hogan. Hogan's not there for whatever reason, and then finally he comes in and takes care of business, and then the good guys win. But it had definitely, for an old guy like me, it had definite shades of that during this match.
Visually, I mean, it is one of the most extraordinary acts in professional wrestling history. Them two as a team is like, it's incredible, dude. Like they look so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it came off great, especially in this setting. And I think they're gonna get big reactions everywhere, obviously, but they came off like superheroes here. So I think the comparison's apt. Speaking of superheroes, folks, the Late Night Grin, we made it. We have crossed 1,000 subscribers. We are at 1,006, in fact. So we appreciate all of you that are watching and took my plea seriously and hit the button there. We finally did it, Oracle. It took us about 25 years. We have 1,000 subscribers on the YouTubes. Now we get in the real business and get super chats. We're going to be in mansions, living large. We'll be at WrestleMania in gorilla position, the whole deal. Good times. Oracle, do you have any official statement on 1,000 subscribers? I know it's something you've really been thinking about a lot, and really.
I really appreciate the continued efforts to allow Joe, Contrarian, Alex, and I to buy physical media. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm glad we have people listening to our horse shit. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
I'm
cool.
gonna have one of those "I was there" T-shirts made.
Yes.
I was
Pretty
there
cool,
when
right? Yeah.
LNG crossed 1K. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, Chris, you were there when this was called something very different. It was
Yes.
very. I mean, you were.
Yes.
Back with us way when. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. We do very much appreciate it, folks. But I do think Ingalls is right. We were better before we sold out. He's right. Before we got into the big business.
We just we're basically Green Day.
Yeah. Well, all right. Take it easy. Okay. All right, folks. Backlash. I think it's fair to say we like this show. I had a great time with this. This time slot for shows for me was fucking awesome. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Real quick, do we want to touch on the Raw King of the Ring brackets for Monday?
Wow.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Actually.
First of all, hold on. Pause. Everybody take this in.
Yes.
They're doing 2 16-person brackets, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's fucking beast, dude.
Okay, so let's go through the matchups. Do you guys have them in full? Because
I don't, but I can pull them up.
Please do, Chris. The big one, I think, to circle is we're getting more Gunther Sheamus, which has been
what intrigues me is they're going to do 4 women and 4 men for SmackDown too, right? Matches.
Yeah, seems like
they're going to have to really. That's going to take up both. That's going to take up all of SmackDown.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I imagine the SmackDown matches will be shorter. Yeah. I think a lot of these on Raw will be shorter too.
To be fair, we talked about it last night. There aren't many guys on SmackDown that need to be having long matches, are there? So it'll be okay.
I don't know. I like the idea of a good 7-minute match,
I love the idea of a good 7-minute match.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I love it, dude.
So I got the men's pulled up. I have to search Queen of the Ring for the women's, obviously. But yeah, we've got the aforementioned Gunther Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Ricochet, Ilya Dragunov.
That's pretty damn good right there. The fellas bracket's pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Even with my reservations last night, that's a pretty good bracket right there.
Yeah, that's good matchmaking right there. Really good matchmaking. Ricochet is gonna jump into some sort of murder, right? He's gonna dive into some sort of leaping elbow of doom.
What are the ladies?
The ladies are Lyra Valkyria versus Asuka.
That'd be good.
Io Sky versus Natty. Shayna versus Alina, and Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile.
They're pretty good too, dude. Actually. Yeah, that's pretty good too. That tournament will get better as they get deeper.
Asuka and Lyra, I honestly hope they get 10 minutes. That could be pretty good.
I think that'll be the long match of the first round. The women's side of things will improve as we get to the next round, because when the winners from those matches advance, you'll have some sweet. But there's still some good ones. I mean, fuck. Now you might. You never know what's up Natalya's sleeve, dude.
I legitimately like the Lola Vice match.
So do I.
Tuesday. No, I thought Lola was a star in it, but
I'd go even further, and this was the real stunner for me. I thought their segment setting it up was good, which was
yeah, it was.
It was almost unsettling that promo was good.
Lola Vice, by the way, she just looks cool.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's going to be fascinating. How you book her on a main roster intrigues me, because she's her style was different, right? But I think thus far they've leaned into that well. So
beast, dude. That King of the Ring lineup is fucking beast.
And this is the progression I think we all want to see in terms of this roster is good enough. Let's get these matches all right. Let's get
do we know who they've announced for SmackDown? Because they've announced I know they haven't done the matches, but they've announced the participants, right? A lot
LA,
of
LA, Santos,
Carmelo, right?
Carmelo,
Bobby Lashley.
I don't remember if he did or not. He might have, but I know those 3, and I don't know if they've announced any women yet. I don't think they have. So
yeah,
Xavier Woods is probably going to be in it, right? Well, no, New Day's on Raw, aren't they?
Yeah. No Woods. Yeah. I think he's probably off. I think they're probably gonna. Or was he on this week? I don't remember. But he's probably getting the shit beat out of him by Gunther.
That's right. That's what we did. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. You're right.
Trev says that Randy was in the original package for it. Oh my god, 3-minute King of the Ring match with Randy Orton. In the RKO, can you imagine? I'm not sure he'll be in, but we'll see. Well, obviously, this will all culminate at the show at the end of the month, which we'll be covering with another preview. So Stay tuned. It's great to have a pay-per-view end with excitement for Raw, though, right? Like excitement as to the matches on Raw. It's cool, man. So, good times, fellas. I'm glad we could hop on and do this. I think it's important to me the late night Grin isn't like exclusively previews. So I'm glad that we won't always do this.
When the situation calls.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes it would just be, the people could just sit home and go, oh, they got everything right, great. But sometimes we get to come on and take our victory lap in person. Like this is great. So let's close out. Chris, you had a chance to promote Music and Moonsaults last night, but why not just run it back, right? I mean, it's a bigger crowd tonight. Let's just run it back. Tell the people what's going on over there.
Musicandmoonsaults.com. Most every Friday afternoon, you can get a new episode of Chris and Matt's Wrestling Podcast. My best friend Matt and I talking all things wrestling and other stuff as well. Especially as he's a cynical son of a bitch. And
imagine that.
It's hard. Like I was trying to talk to him about this show this week, and he's just like, whatever. And forget, like he's angry at AEW. So yeah, it's tough. So it might be Chris and Matt's whatever pod here pretty soon. Not much wrestling, but so that's most every Friday, and multiple times a month. I drop on Saturdays. I'll drop a base cover. I had a new one come out during right as AJ and Cody were making their entrances. Actually, I had my latest base cover came out. Separate Ways by Journey. So go check that out. And so follow me there. And I've been as Chris on the Twitter machine.
Absolutely. There you go, folks. I'll link it as always below this once we're done here. The Oracle of Wrestling. There you go. Beautiful. Unmute. For a moment, I doubted that you knew, but of course you're a professional. You're not like Alex, right? Coming on here talking to himself and mute. Fucking. Anyway, I shouldn't keep burying Alex. I'm going to be in Vegas with him in 11 months. I know. Can you imagine
the first time I ever got on this? Remember that we were off air.
No,
but like the first time I ever got on the show. Remember, like we were off air, but I couldn't figure out how to like work.
Oh, yeah. It's a long, dude. That's nearly 3 years ago, bro. It's a long time, man. We're getting old. Can you imagine the photos that are going to emerge from this Contrarian Alex J Bing Bong Las Vegas tour? It's concerning. I'm concerned too. I'm not sure where he's going to lead us here. But we'll see. Oracle, any final words, mate?
Great show. World Wrestling Federation is back for now.
For now. These moments are fleeting, folks.
I will probably not be back on the Grin for at least 2 weeks. Maybe 3, depending on if we do a Double or Nothing preview. I don't know. We'll sort all that out, but we might be doing Double or Nothing preview a week before, but it depends on
the card, basically. Right?
Yeah, if they get the card announced, which is always kind of iffy. But other than that, I mean, it's King of the Ring season.
Light up, brother.
And it's an actual King of the Ring tournament, which pops me.
Gunther Sheamus season, brother.
My God.
Let's run it back. All right. There you go, folks. A review show in the books. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope you enjoyed Backlash. We hope you've had fun with the LNG reboot. We have soared to 1,000 subscribers somehow, some way. I posted a couple of graphics earlier that were like genuinely crazy. Like we have fun here and we get silly, but sincerely, we really appreciate the support. It's been great since we got back. So I know for a lot of you, you've followed me from the Wrestle Perverts and elsewhere, and you're meeting this new cast of characters, and I hope you're enjoying their company as much as I do, folks. It's been great, and we're just getting started here. We're just getting started. We're only like 6 or 7 episodes into the reboot, bro. We got so many more washed allegations to beat, right? That's the way this game goes. So lots ahead of us. Great times. Thanks for joining us last night, today. And I guess, we'll be back on Friday for the flagship. And it may be a Grin game night, folks. So stay tuned for that. Jay Shell could be in the house. If not, we'll talk about Nick Bockwinkel as we do. So with that in mind, I need you to do me a favor. One last thing. You've done a lot for me tonight. You subscribed. You got over 1,000. I need you to hit the thumbs up. And the big one is I need you to comment below this video. You can comment anything, right? You can comment Ibu was wrong about AJ Styles. You can comment AJ greater than Arrow Kurt. Not like, just suggestions. You could comment Contrarian Alex sucks. That's a good one. Right? That's always a good one. So any of those things or a custom variant you're coming up with yourself, comment something below the video when we're done here. It helps us out. But in the meantime, keep grinning, all hail, and enjoy this outro, folks. Have a great night.